I've talked about this before. Ever since Trump was elected, all of these racists feel emboldened and are coming out trying to make a claim to show their racist attitudes. But when it's directed towards children, that's just plain cowardice. Mom outraged after teacher hangs a Confederate flag above her daughter's desk. And this is right here in California, in Visalia. Although Ebony Goodman says Confederate flags are relatively common sights around Visalia, which has nothing to do with the South. The last place she expected to find one was on the ceiling of her daughter's history classroom at La Jolla Middle School. Wow, that's young. Right above her daughter's desk. So this wasn't in a corner of the classroom. This wasn't in the front of the classroom or the back of the classroom. It was right above this little girl's desk. In this particular hurtful, Goodman says, because she and her 13-year-old daughter are African American, and the Confederate flag is a painful reminder of America's slave history. People in the South try to say, no, it's a reminder of our Southern pride. You mean the pride when you tried to destroy this country and keep a group of people enslaved? That's not the kind of pride this country should be known for. Jackasses. Just imagine your family members have been murdered, hung from trees, beaten until their flesh was exposed, and then somebody, she forgot, raped. Imagine if you're a man, another man comes into your shack and rapes your wife while you stand there in the corner with your hat in your hands. I have nothing but utter disdain for this trash. Then somebody takes their picture and makes a mockery of it and puts it on the wall, Goodman says. That's what the flag means to African Americans. Also to good, decent, human white folks. Not the ones with the 10% Neanderthal DNA that would do something like this, but actual humanistic white folks. When Goodman learned from her daughter about the classroom flag, she spoke out during a joint meeting of the Visalia City Council, Visalia Unified School District, and College of Sequoias on April 4th. When she finished speaking, it was silent, the whole room, Goodman said. After the meeting ended, she was approached by the Visalia Unified Board President and Assistant Superintendent who apologized to her. The flag came down the same night. Jovina, it never should have been up.
California doesn't do shit like that.
I know. Actually, there are a lot of racists in California.
I know, but they don't do. I mean, the Confederate flag's not the thing
That's what gets me.
I've never seen it anywhere in California.
I've seen it before.
Not unless people have it in their homes.
When I would walk across the mall with friends in the past, I would get that. Always from speeding trucks. The N-word, and then at whoever I was with, N-word lover. They always got to speed by.
Well, they have to speed by.
Yeah, they're cowards. They're cowards. When she finished speaking, it was silent, she said. And anyway, the flag came down that night. La Jolla Principal Travis Hambleton said the history class was studying the Civil War. And the flag hung as an illustration of that time period. You know, it's bad enough this country in the school system puts its neck on, or its boot on the neck of black students. But you got to degrade a little girl like this. Some white person decided to degrade the only black child.
It was a male teacher.
More than likely. I did not release the name so far.
They should.
They should. I would like to know who it is. Oh, if he had done that to one of my boys. La Jolla principal, after studying Civil War, Hamilton said the teacher never intended to make Goodman's daughter uncomfortable by flying the flag. Can you believe that lying sack of shit?
No, I don't believe it.
That lying sack of shit.
Everyone knows that's not true.
Yeah. And then put it right above her desk.
It was intentional.
It was totally intentional. I told you, after Trump got elected, all these goddamn racists, they begin to feel emboldened.
But he's not trying to talk them out of it. You don't see him.
I think he did make a speech. You guys stop doing that. Stop doing that.
Someone told him to say something, but did he really mean it, or did he really say anything? No. Stop doing that. Stop doing what? Be specific.
Then you have, Caucasians having to, sitting around with their wine and their crackers and cheese, talking, oh, what a shameful situation is going on out there. And they voted for Trump. Those blacks, man. It's shameful what's happening to them. They're not going to do anything about it. They'll sit there in their little parties and talk about it if they even bring it up.
They don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it. Yeah. We are certainly not trying to be controversial. We're just trying to help kids learn. Yeah, in America, we learn, as a black man, what I learned was that blacks were at the bottom of the barrel. That's what I learned from school. All my years of school, I learned that blacks were at the bottom. That I remember when they start teaching the Civil War. Unfortunately, my parents never told me that my ancestors had been slaves, and I felt like this big. And I remember the white kids, peeking over the shoulder at me, and I'm sitting there trying to be brave and stare straight ahead. My parents should have prepared me for that.
Should have at least warned you that was going to happen in school.
Yeah, and taught me the real African history. Don't think my dad knew, being a biracial, but or triracial. But my mom actually didn't teach her anything either in her family.
The only history she knew was probably
what she got. And she told me, it really hurt me, that in high school, the teacher called her the N-word. Yeah. My poor mother. We are certainly, bullshit. Goodman questions why the school officials didn't immediately recognize how repugnant such a display would be, especially for the academic. They don't care.
Repugnant's not even the word to be using. It's disgusting.
It's a sign of education in the United States. As Jane Elliott said, if you were white and you were educated in the United States, you came out of high school a racist. Because everything's slanted to put white as superior and black as inferior. They look at, why don't blacks own homes? Because when, like in World War II and World War I, the government's giving out FHA loans, they gave them to white people. They denied blacks to have them. That's why these people's grandparents were able to get a house. And we couldn't get houses. Yet still, even despite that, there were a lot of blacks that got houses, like my grandparents. They were able to buy a house, despite not having access to the low interest rate loans. It's like they say about black folks, we make a way out of no way. We're told no way, we find a way. See, before you came to this country, you have no idea how bad it was. This little girl. All you did was study your history books.
Well, that's all they taught us in school.
Yeah. Now, you had black friends, but if you were going to go by the education that this country teaches you, white is, they fly through the air, they lift cars, they're the creation of everything, of medicine, although medicine actually came out of Egypt. That's where the Greeks got their learning from. But they teach you, this whole Eurocentric stuff. What was your impression of blacks? Well, you had black friends, though, so you probably didn't think poorly. Yeah. My concern is it represents white supremacy, racism, and slavery, Goodman said. That's exactly what that flag represents.
That's exactly what it does.
Like, duh.
I mean, why do they have to have a flag in the classroom? I'm sure there's a picture of it in the goddamn...
They could have used the Union flag. Because that's who won. Who wants to show the loser? And what's bad is the South wrote the history books after the goddamn war. That's why we don't know anything about... Like, I try to educate people that if you look at the picture of Washington crossing Delaware, in the front of the boat is a black man. They don't know that blacks fought in the war for this country. They're taught that it was only white people that fought. My concern is it represents, yeah, she said, and my daughter is being discriminated against. You dang right she's being discriminated against. Right. Maureen Costello, director of Teaching Tolerance, a project of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Southern Poverty? There it is right there. Southern. Said it's not illegal to fly the Confederate flag. No, it's not. But such a display would be possibly an ethical issue.
Possibly? Where do you get possibly from?
That's how it is for blacks in this country. Costello said the history teacher could have considered the students' feelings before hanging the Confederate flag. He did.
He didn't give a shit.
Whoever it was, they did consider that students. That's why they put it right over her desk. It could have been in the front of the classroom, could have been on the side of the classroom, in the back, right over her desk.
Over somebody else's desk.
That poor girl. It's no wonder why a lot of blacks smoke weed. I think that's why a lot of blacks smoke weed. To make themselves feel good. Because it sucks being black in this country. Someone said to me, black men ain't got nothing to complain about.
Who said that?
Oh, I'm not going to say who said it.
I think I
black men, have nothing to complain about. No. She said, hanging the flag at La Jolla, especially over the African American student in the class, was not the best judgment. Fire that teacher. Don't you agree?
Yes. They didn't
Fire that teacher. Because that person has racial issues. They have done studies where, and this is part of Jane Elliott's work that she did with students, that your impression, a teacher's impression of a student, will determine how well they do in class. So if that person has racial bias toward a student, that student will do poorly. They try to do that too.
You can sense when somebody's not paying attention to your needs or doesn't care about whether you learn or don't learn. You could tell.
Like if when you came to this country, if you didn't speak English and your teacher's probably thought, she's a foreigner, she's not an English speaker. She's probably stupid, and that would have changed your entire grades that you got in school.
Probably.
They've actually done studies, and how the teacher thinks of the student will determine how well that kid does in the school system. Baby Derek. They tried to say that he needed special education. He didn't need special education. If they were racist, they were taking him to a racist school, and they finally took him out of school. But it was a Catholic school. Didn't say no more. Catholic schools, they don't want blacks up in there. At least back then. Visalia Unified Area Superintendent Jackie Gaby said the La Jolla teacher has used the flag to teach about Civil War in the past, perhaps for about 8 years, and until now there were no issues.
Maybe he didn't have any black students at the time, or if he did, they just
put it over that girl's desk. That's a deliberate assault on her psyche. She added that the teacher also uses the Betsy Ross flag along with current United States flag during the lesson. Another class at the school, Gaby said, places a picture of the flag on a whiteboard. But, we need to change that shit. They lost. Too bad. Get over it. Destroy the flag.
I don't even know why that flag exists.
Look what it represented. Think of those white males having all that power over black women back then. You see the color of black people now.
Yeah,
they went down there, got free sex anytime they wanted. And I read that the white wives oftentimes killed the biracial daughters that came out of there, because that man he would also have sex with the daughters too, and then the daughter's that daughter, but if they lived, but the mother, the white mother, would kill the daughters. They'd beat them so bad because she knew. She knew that her husband snuck down there.
They probably
Crept in
heard
the
things
shacks.
and seen some of it. And
Yeah. Let's see where this goes. I guess they're not going to fire the dude. We never want this to be a situation where we are in conflict with the parent. The district decided to take down the flag, she said, because it raised sensitivity issues. Black people are so, what's that? Sensitive. They're so fragile. No.
What about all the white snowflakes out there?
Yeah.
We get sensitive over the stupidest shit.
White fragility. Visalia Unified Board President Lucia Vasquez said that it's a no-brainer decision to remove the flag. It shouldn't have been up there to begin with. This is California. Number one.
Shocked it was
from the classroom immediately. She added that the mother coming forward with her concerns during the meeting helped the district learn about the situation and take action. We want what's best for the children. Well, it's only because the news got involved.
They're a friggin' school. You're supposed to know. If you know your history, you know what the flag stands for.
Yeah. And that flag doesn't represent the best. What about to the white kids that are in there? Think about it. Think about the white kids that got to see that dirty flag.
They don't need to see that either.
Well, they don't.
They don't need to be exposed
As
to that.
Jane Elliott said, who is an educator, if you come out of school system in America, you're already a racist. Even if you're very liberal. And there are liberal racists out there. So this crap goes on. The First Amendment, blah, blah, blah. Basically, teachers still teaching.
Of course, and you know they're not going to fire them.
No.
They're not even saying if it's male or female either.
Nope. They don't want to give the person's name.
Yeah.
They're being very protective. I guess that person will probably get death threats and stuff.
You know that would that phone will be blowing up.
Yep. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Well, I don't know about death threats, but they need to be phone calls. Get some phone calls about what we think of that.
A little bit of a threat here and there won't hurt.
This shit sucks.